Alright. Can everybody hear me? Alright. Rami typed yeah, so I'm gonna take it that you guys can hear me. As I do a little bit different, as you guys know, I'm not feeling too well, so instead of going through the review and doing all that stuff, let you guys do a little bit more reading, and I can just kind of go over things. What you're looking at is an old test. You see it says 2015. This is the test I gave to my students last year for this unit back when I was at Woodbridge. And basically, I'm gonna let you guys look at it. We're gonna go through it, and essentially, pictures like basically you might see some similar questions tomorrow. You might not. Obviously, we made a new test over here at Lake Ridge, so let you guys kind of get a glimpse as to what to expect. So, first question: how a bill becomes a law. So we see committee, and then vote. So what would go in the middle? B is correct. So we would have floor debate. So the reason it says floor debate, and I threw off some of my kids last year, is because the technical phrase is that they debate the bill on the floor of the House. It may not always say the word debate. It may say they discuss the bill. It may say they're addressing the bill. It may say something as a synonym to the word debate. It may not always say on the floor. It may say in the Senate or in the House or something, but debate is the third step. All right, number 2. The blank makes laws for the national government, and this one's pretty simple. Somebody type it quick. Like this should be easy. I know there's a little bit of a delay too, so. And Idris is right. Congress. So, Congress makes the laws. Moving on. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that one. That one should be a gimme. So, here we go. Here's another one. There's another step-by-step thing. So, it says House, talking about a bill. So it says that the bill, they want to have this idea. And they introduce the bill. They skip a couple steps here, and they say that the House has already approved the bill. So, where would it go to now? This is a little bit of a tricky question here, so pay attention. Rami says C. Tree says C. Carson B. Brandon C. Which will it be? So, I think some of you are kind of second guessing yourselves here. Maybe that's why I'm not seeing as many people type the answer really quick. The answer would have been C. Notice it took the time to say that it's only talking about the House. It could have just said Congress approved the bill if they wanted to go to President. It's been approved in the House. It has to be approved in both houses. So you see, this is the repeat step. This is that unofficial step. So the bill was introduced. They skip over it, but committee debate, voted on. So that means approved. But then it has to do all the same steps: introduced, debated, committee debated, voted on, and then go to the next thing. So you gotta go through. It's that's why I'm walking you through this. Take your time here. I know why you put B, Carson, because it makes sense. If Congress signs off on it, it goes to the president to sign or veto. That's what I've been teaching you. But we did talk about it in our notes, and we've talked about before. It's got to go through both houses. All right, next one. Complete the analogy. So implied is used to carry out express powers. What's an express power? And by the way, can y'all see good enough? Do I need to zoom in more, or are the words blurry or anything? G-Unit. No, just kidding. Sorry, I won't do that again. Um, yeah, Romney, you were wrong. This is my shock noise. You know, this is how shocked I am. You got it wrong. I'm kidding. Usually you're pretty good, bud. All right, so implied is, that's the one we got to stretch it, used to carry out express powers. I'm telling you, if you remember express, implied's easy. Express specifically listed in the Constitution. This means I can open up the Constitution, and it says that Congress can override a veto. It says President can veto. It says that Congress controls the money, and so on. Okay? So that, that's express. That's all. This is a fancy way of saying, like, I can open up the Constitution and read it. This one's easy. It's 2/3. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, going on it. I don't think I asked this on this year, so, but you do need to know it. 2/3 to override. What's the primary job of Congress? This one should be easy. It's review. It's a joke. J is correct. Yeah. Good. Some of y'all are getting this real quick. Some of y'all must have faster internet than others. So they make the laws. 7. Now I told you this question today, and I'm telling you, people miss this one. I don't know why, but they missed it. So Congress makes laws. Why? Why does Congress make laws? Hi, Grace. Uh-oh. Carson getting in there first this time. Where's Daniela when I need her? Daniela, you were first. All the other, and Woobit. Girls, you gotta step it up here. And the boys get in there before you. D is correct. Okay. They make laws in response to problems or issues. So the example I used in class was we didn't always have seatbelt laws or that it was mandatory or whatever. But too many people were dying, and so they wanted to make it safer. So we introduced seatbelt laws. We entered, drunk driving laws, speed limits, all that kind of stuff was put in place for our safety to help limit limit the loss of life. All right. So before it's a law, what is it called? It's a bill. Just think of the song. I'm just a bill up on Capitol Hill. So a bill becomes a law once it's done with the process. So before we go forward into executive, I want you guys to type out. You don't have to type out like the words. Remember how I told you shorten it down to 5 words? You don't have to do the repeat step. Type out how the bill process. Type that out for me in the chat. Type it all out. Don't do it. Yeah, Grace, type it all in one like blurb. You're missing a step, Asia. So close. No, do it all in one step, Rami. Asia, finish it off. There we go. There's our girl representation getting it done. Good job, Grace. Now remember, it could come off as proposed or introduced. So you see Asia use introduce, Grace use proposed. I mean, they're both right. So just know that. So we got introduce. That's the word I like to use. Goes to committee. Then there's going to be debated on the floor. Again, they might not say the exact words to ban on the floor. You have to be able to, know that they're talking about it. Then Congress votes on it. It repeats. It doesn't count as a step, but it repeats the same process in the other house. So if it started in the House, it goes to the Senate. If it started in the Senate, it goes to the House. Once both houses have agreed, it then goes to the president. He can either sign the bill into law, so a bill becomes law, or he can veto it. And if he vetoes it, Congress can override it with 2/3. I'm glad you're reviewing. Well, I'll talk to you later, Jeff. Let me finish this review. So that's that test. See, look at all the tests I have up there from my old school. We're going to do executive now. So here we have, so this one I'm going to have to scroll down. We have a gentleman, the President of the United States. Remember, when you see a picture, especially for civics, everything's in there usually for a reason. So they're making sure that you know that this is a president. It says president right there on the picture. They're making you know that just as in any speech, it's the State of the Union address. Then they tell you, members of Congress, we need to reform the current postal system. He is talking to Congress. So, what role is he fulfilling when doing this? Rami was quick there. Good job, Grace. Good job, Asia. Good job, Idris. Daniela. And the boys. Boys let me down. So, it's, again, the clue here, like, I'm going to be honest, all this is wind address. Even if you didn't know what the State of the Union address is, he says members of Congress is telling you he is talking to Congress. What branch is Congress? The legislative branch. So he's acting as a chief legislator. He's dealing with the legislative branch, chief legislature. Does that make sense for you guys? Nah, you're not dumb, man. That's why we're reviewing. Alright. This is another question I remember people struggling with. So, right now, I can tell you this question. I could read this out loud to you. Or I could just tell you, there's this word right there, Europe. And you should be able to get the answer. Like, none of that else matters. It's all there to mess with you. All the extra words. It says Europe. That's your key word. Good. Good. Y'all getting it. So it's chief diplomat. So I'll read it real quick. People of Europe who are defending themselves did not ask us to do their fighting. They did not ask to implement war. The planes, the tanks, the guns, the freighters, which will enable them to fight for their liberty and for security. Emphatically, we must get these weapons to them, get them to them in sufficient volume and quickly enough so that we and our children will be saved the agony and suffering of war with others that had to endure. A lot of big words he uses in there. Intelligent academic words, stuff you should know, and it's good for you to learn. But this is all to throw you off. Once you see Europe and there's no bombs or military being discussed, like they're not gonna send troops, they're not, he's just saying basically like they want our help, like we're talking to them. It's chief diplomat. So pretty much if it involves another country, it's diplomat, unless there's some kind of military involved, and then it becomes commander in chief. Yeah, Dries, you're probably right about that. Woobit is here. Alright. This question tells you the answer. This is a reading question. So read it, take your time, and get it. This is I'm telling you, I've seen people miss this too, and I don't understand it. It tells you the answer in the question. It may be the connection. It'll probably get better in a second. I can try and zoom in a little bit more, but then you won't be able to see. Alright, so yes, the answer is D. Okay? So, it says, he shall from time to time give to Congress information to the State of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may on extraordinary occasions convene both houses. That's that special session he can call. Doesn't say anything about appealing directly to the people. Doesn't talk about veto. Doesn't talk about a point. But it says State of the Union. It says State of the Union there. I'm telling you, I've seen people miss this question. I don't know why. So, CR7 won the balloon D? That don't make any sense, Rami. Alright. Here's another one. So you're going to see a chart here, which the following statement best describes the U.S. executive branch. So you see this chart, it's all the agencies that work underneath the president. President's at the top. Which answer describes what's this picture about? Even if you're late, Bryson, you can always watch it on repeat. Like, it'll save, you know that. H is correct. Good job, Eric. I think it's the first time you were first. So, this is, again, you don't have to pay attention in my class to know this. It's a simple graph. President's at the top. You have the agencies underneath it. President of the United States heads the executive branch, which consists of many departments and agencies. The rest just don't make sense. Executive branch is headed by Congress. Congress is not mentioned. The executive branch only includes the President of the United States. Well, that's just not true. You see all these other agencies. Department, agency, and executive branch have power over the President. If that was true, the graph would be flipped. Adrice, I didn't see it. If I didn't see it, Eric wins. Sorry. Alright, this picture, for whatever reason, is super tiny and didn't save well. So the bomb is being said about the need for affordable healthcare. So, again, you don't need the picture. The picture's just there to, kind of remind you of what it is. Was Obama speaking to citizens about the need for America to have affordable healthcare and what was President Obama influencing policymaking? If it's blurry for you guys, I mean, the only thing I can tell you is that later, when you're watching it, you can buffer it before you watch, and it might help it a little bit. It's fine on my connection. While I'm reading you guys complaining, I'm also just waiting for someone to actually say the right answer. Because right now, I'd be giving everybody, nobody would be getting 100. Ding, ding, ding. Girls figured it out. It's D. Alright, so you guys thought that proposing legislation and a speech to Congress. I don't understand. This is where maybe you guys can help me. How you came to the answer, because a bunch of you all came to that answer. But it don't make sense to me how you got there. Can somebody type it out why they thought that? Like, I mean, this, again, I'm not trying to like call you out. I'm just trying to figure it out what's going on. You think because it said speech? It says speaking. But, I mean, again, you know, this is where you gotta read. Speaking to citizens, not Congress, citizens. Another way of saying citizens is people. It doesn't. It never says speech to Congress. That's what I don't get. It says citizens. So you guys, what you just did was you took some previous knowledge where we used the State of the Union all the way up here, and just applied it, thinking that's the only speech he makes. I mean, but I mean, you guys know better than that. I mean, he makes a ton of speeches. Citizens, people. He's not. I mean, I guess you could say he's. I get where you get proposed legislation because he's saying I want to have this healthcare bill, but he's trying to get people behind him. He's talking to them. The president is that's the only time the president. Oh, so Woobit, good point. Okay, so Woobit said I thought the State of the Union address was the only time the president gives a speech about bills, laws in general. That's the only time the president can actually propose legislation. He can talk about it all he wants, anytime. But when it comes time to actually make a bill a law, he will have to get that bill of law sponsored by someone in Congress, because that's their job to make the law. Will it always say Congress so we know it's legislative? They will switch them, and I will switch them. So I mean, you should know by now Congress is legislative. They're interchangeable. So no, we're not gonna do Kahoot on here, Bryson, because because there's too much lag, and it, you know, just with people's connections, it just gets messed up. So, Woobit, does that answer some of your questions? Like, he's allowed to talk about the bill. He's trying to get people behind the bill so that Congress will feel more pressured to pass it. Okay. What's funny is when I'm talking by myself, you know, I know you guys are listening, but I would notice how much I talk with my hands because they keep moving. It's really weird. All right, next question. So, what are the two areas that the president's going to have power? So, this is actually where we got to have two different answers. I did not spend a ton of time on this, being honest, but we've talked about it. So, what do you guys think? What are the two? There's two answers here. Just type. You don't have to type out the whole thing. Type out the letters. What are the two areas the president's going to have power over? Who was first? Who's first? Let's see. It was Eric who was first. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it's F and J. So F, Domestic is another way of saying here. We've done that. We've gone over that a bunch when we went to the preamble. Foreign means somewhere else. If you just think of his chief roles, so he's got chief of state. He's giving out awards or medals here. He's got chief legislator. He's helping with the bills. He's chief executive. He's enforcing the bills. And then he's got the other ones that would deal with foreign. Commander in chief, military action somewhere else. Chief diplomat, dealing with foreign policy. So. Alright. Again, you can read all this. I don't even need to show you the options for this. A is not the right answer. You could read all this about stopping, how he's telling everybody, hey, we're not going to fight you, we're going to stop shooting for a while. That's what a ceasefire is. Look what a ceasefire is. It's a stoppage of combat operations. So I wonder what role the president would play in this. And Eric's getting the fast fingers in there. And then it's followed by all the girls. But Eric's beating the girls by just a little bit. Commander-in-Chief. Good job. So again, it's talking anything military, anything with our military. It's going to be Commander-in-Chief. Even a decision to stop fighting, still Commander-in-Chief. Okay. Number 8, President is the boss for a bunch of workers in the executive branch, and he's enforcing, and choosing officials and advisors to help run the executive branch. What role of the president is being defined by the above statement? This should be a gimme. Please don't miss it. Nobody, hopefully. And every time the boys are stepping it up, girls. Woobit's getting beat. I've never seen this on our streams. Woobit's getting beat. Good job, Chris. Yeah, it's chief executive. So he's basically doing his job enforcing the law, getting his government workers to help him enforce the law, being chief executive. This one's not up on the screen, but what do we call the people who help him enforce the laws? So the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, all of those secretaries make up the president's what? Alright, good job. His cabinet. Good job, Morgan. So good. So the cabinet's job also is to help enforce the laws. They do the same thing for the president, but obviously the president can't be everywhere. So when it comes to enforcing environmental laws, the EPA, a government agency, the Environmental Protection Agency, they're enforcing environmental laws and so on and so on. So that's their job. Just want to clarify that. Number 9. In this role, president helps members of his political group get elected or appointed. This is so easy. President campaigns for those members support his policy. At the end of the term, the president may campaign for re-election. Did you notice that I avoided saying a certain word here when I wrote this question? What is it? What do you think? Chris was first again. Man, look at the boys. All of them. There's 4 in front of the girls this time. Yeah, the correct answer is chief of party. Even though I wrote or. Yeah, that's a typo. So, chief of party, he's helping his party get elected. Simple. I don't hear my dog barking. I think this is the last one. Yep. This role requires the president to be an inspiring example for American people. In this role, they hold special occasions, celebrate national holidays, and stand for his values and ideals of the country. The president is a living symbol of the nation. He awards medals, congratulating astronauts, greeting visitors, making a patriotic speech on the 4th of July. Which one is it? Eric. Eric got it. Oh, man. Boys came out, man, tonight. Chief of State. Good job. So I think we went over all the different roles. Okay. So we have the one that's basically doing the things that are nice and they make a good news headline, but they don't really have any significance in terms of like running the country. We got Chief of State. We went over Chief of Party, all the different roles the president, or not all, helping his political party win. Chief Executive, running the country. Military, Commander in Chief. What other chiefs did we go over? We talked about, helping out another country, Chief Diplomat. We talked about State of the Union address. Wait a minute, Grace, you say you had it first? Let me go up. I will double check. I don't see it, Grace. I see Eric type J. Then Pack type no. Then Chris type J. And then Grace type J. Just saying. No, that's actually from an old SOL. That is not Trump. Anyways, so him talking State of the Union address, talking to Congress, chief legislator. The only one we didn't talk about is the one that I can't believe it's on your SOL. Chief citizen. It's where he's like one of us. Kind of represents us to the country. So like when they think of America, they think of us as this. So like, if Americans like to go get a Big Mac, that's what they'll think of the president getting a Big Mac. One thing I didn't cover in this test, so one more possible test question. What has happened to presidential power over the years? What has happened to presidential power over the years? I'll do that in a second, Eric. Good job, Rami. Increased. It has increased. I gotta say, I think that the girls, I have to have slower internet. That's the only plausible reason for this. Just saying. So that one. What else is there? Oh, I missed this one when we were doing legislative. Blank and blank help shape legislation from your study guide. Blank and blank help shape legislation. There we go. Wooba got it in there before Chris. Individuals and interest groups, or you said it backwards, it doesn't matter. Individuals and interest groups help shape legislation. Good job. Alright, so chief diplomat, that's when we're going to talk to another country, and we're going to help them unless it's military. If in any way our military gets involved in helping them, then we're pretty much at war, or we're doing some kind of military operation, and our president's acting as commander-in-chief. Do you guys have any other questions for me, or you guys pretty good? If you lost your study guide or you just want to study it, you can go to solpass.org. You'll see it up here. They have all the study guides for the whole year. It's essentially all they did was copy and paste the SOL standards that I have to teach you and just paste them into here. So you're not going to find the most detailed things. I mean, obviously I put in the blanks for your study guide. But if you lost your stuff, you're just looking for something to study, or you didn't fill in the blanks for whatever reason today, this is a good place. You can go look here and get the answers for your review. So I'll leave it up there. Again, it's solpass.org. You go to civics. It's free. You guys don't have to pay anything. It's good to know. All right. We have to read some of the stories and answer the question. I don't think we had too long of stories, man. I would just say look for keywords. You know, like again, if you see another country and you don't see the word military somewhere, you should know it's chief diplomat. If you see the word something related to military, you should look for commander in chief as an answer choice. I'm not saying like just read one word and assume that's the answer. But I'm saying from there, you can have like, okay, this is my guess, and then read on to verify it. So that's just like a good thing to key in is on words like that. It's a good way to remember the chief stuff. Um, I need to bring him in, Justin. Sorry about that. I gotta find him. I don't know where I put him. I'll tell you what, Justin. You get the hundreds on the test, and I'll definitely. Because I'm in my basement somewhere down here. They're packed away. I'll find them then. Okay. Anyways. So So those are the chief diplomat, commander in chief. Chief of state, that's the one that, hey, I'm gonna look good. So what can make me look good? Oh, let me take a picture kissing a baby. Let me congratulate astronauts. Let me congratulate the Super Bowl winning team. Let me give this Marine a Medal of Honor. It's the things that, it's a good fluffy story that people like to hear. That's all warm and fuzzy. But again, it doesn't have any significance to the country. Chief legislator, you're looking for something that mentions Congress or legislative branch, that he's dealing with them. Chief executive, you want something where he's basically running the government. He's enforcing the law. They're not going to say executing the law. They're going to say enforcing because they don't want to give you the answer. Give it away. It might say executing the law. Then it's definitely giving you the correct answer. You shouldn't miss that one. Chief of party, helping the Democrats. If it's a Democratic president, he's helping Democrats. If it's a Republican president, helping Republicans. You're looking for that. Um, Chief Citizen again. I don't think I asked any questions, but just in case, he's just an everyday normal person representing America. Well, that's not the test, Idris. That was my old test. I can tell you right now. Some might have gotten used, but I know for sure that not all the questions are that exact test. Chief diplomat don't does not sound like diplomat and deploy are different words. There, you're like, I don't know. You got that in your head. Um, just don't think of deploy. Commander in chief is the only one for military. And Woobit. So can you give us examples on? Those were basically some examples of what you might see on the test. That was my old test that I used to use. What I think the hardest part is, I would say for the most part, I expect you guys, like if I'm doing generic scores, you'll be around. Like if you studied, you paid attention, you're gonna get 100. There's probably one or two hard questions on each test. Everything else should be relatively standard, and at a minimum, everybody should get a B. Um, that's the way I see it. All right, you guys got any other questions for me? All right, you guys are free to go. I'll probably end the stream in a couple minutes. I just want I'll give people time um, to see if they have any more questions. Rami didn't say anything dumb. So if I get 100 subs, so I'll bring my grade up tonight. I don't know your grade off the top of my head, Rami. So I don't know. You have an 86? Probably not. Being honest, it'll probably. I mean, it could. It'll put you right at the border. It'll be right around it. Bye, guys. Anything else? Last chance. You did good tonight, Eric. Good job. You just had to keep asking about this bet. You were doing so good. I bet I'll let you get away for 2 times, but I'm a baseball player, man. 3 times. 3 times and you're out. No problem, Eric, man. Anytime. I tell you what, Rami, if you're still watching, I'll make the deal. If you get 2 100s, I will give you the comfy chair. But you got to type yes in chat. I'll give you 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I guess. Alright, man, I tried. Oh well, Rami. Always next time. You guys have a good one.